dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
After his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
But it's a class action lawsuit against all machines.
So notice something. I defended him on his bad joke because I have standards and I have principles.
Get your words straight, Jack.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
users, and welcome to another episodic in style ocean of the goddamn. Welcome. I am here. I'm alive. I'm living, and I am alive. I have multiple lives, and they're all living, and I'm alive. So anyway, welcome to the show. Got a show going on. Today I am drinking Waterloo Black Cherry Seltzer. Wada wada woo wah. As we can see here, the Faraday cage that I have constructed, that I am living inside of, and have been from for the last period of time, is falling apart. You might be wondering, why is this happening? Why is it falling apart? What's going on? What is going on here? You might be wondering. Well, I got a YouTube strike in January, and the YouTube strike has expired. So I'm now strike-free. But we didn't get there that easily. There was a battle. The cyber ninjas tracked me down. After several months, they tracked me down. And the YouTube strike has expired. It is now gone from the channel. So, strike-free once again, y'all. But it was not easy. Many soldiers were lost. Many guardians of my Faraday cage are no longer with us. Why? Well, because I terminated their contract, as their resources are no longer necessary because the strike has expired. So, we're all good to go, y'all. But, once again, still here in the battered cage. The battered cage. Not to be confused with, like, pancake batter. Or Nicolas Cage. Huh? Eh? 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 Oh, eh? Oh, eh? Ooh, oh. Anyway, so now that I've discussed the most important news of the day, so yesterday was the premiere of the second episodic installation of the second iteration of Cooking with the Goddamn Bitch. Many people showed up to the premiere. Thank you for watching the premiere. If you did not watch the premiere, go check out the ep. It's a banger. Once again, non-stop bangers on this program and other programs that are adjacent to this program within the Above It All cinematic universe. Lots of bangers to be had, lots of banging. We're banging with bangers. That's going to be my next program, Banging with Bangers. And but that's, still in development. Next week, next Wednesday is the Cooking with the Bitch day. I might make Wednesday like just, I like the streaming on Wednesday for the Doom stream. That was cool. Wednesday for me, people sometimes need to get through the middle of the week. So maybe that's where I can employ or deploy some of my projected projects. Maybe. It's possible. So anyway, got a show here, doing a show. There's a Politico piece that I have not read yet, but it seems interesting. Seems interesting. So many programs in the episodic Above It All universe, and there's more to come. There's more to come. The Lucid Dream Show, hopefully, will be starting production, producing the production by the end of this month. I don't know if I have a lot of ideas for it, and I don't know exactly how the release of it's going to go yet. So it's very possible if I start production by the end of this month that I still will not have anything out until maybe the end of next month. It's possible, so just bear with me. But the pre-production for that has started. So we are in the pre-production level of production, of producing a production. And so, okay. Joe Robino Bodo II, a.k.a. Joseph Robinette Biden II, currently, as of this moment in time, the President of the United States. This is an article from Politico that dropped this morning. I have not read this yet, but I've seen some interesting snippets on the internet. So, Biden world projects calm about COVID, but bites their nails in private. So, once again, let's do a quick history lesson. So, last April, Joe Biden's administration announces that the vaccine is available for all adults. Last July, 2021, Joe Biden declares victory on COVID on July 4th, says COVID has been beaten. Last fall, the Delta variant comes around. In between the Delta variant and Omicron variant surges, Kamala Harris gives an interview, she's the vice president, by the way, with the LA Times, saying that they had no idea variants would be a possibility. Now, I knew that that would happen. Why? Because I pay attention to virologists and epidemiologists, and they have been sounding the alarms on variants since, April of 2020, and said that if not everyone gets the vaccine, and we don't have any control mechanisms that variants are eventually going to happen, White House, apparently I'm smarter than the entire White House, apparently. And so is everyone else that actually follows epidemiologists, virologists. Apparently we're all smarter than the entire White House. Now, I don't believe that. I believe that they knew that Delta variant or Omicron were possibilities. They just lied. They didn't care. They didn't care about protecting millions and millions of people. They just didn't give a fuck. They said, let's hope for the best. It's called gambling. It's called gambling. And as we know with gambling, the house always wins. Huh? And in this instance, it's not the White House. It's COVID in this instance. So in this instance, the house loses. But anyway, so Omicron comes around, right? And then Jen Psaki is laughing at the idea of sending tests to Americans via the USPS. What are we gonna do? Just give them free tests? Coincidentally, Jen Psaki announces that she's leaving the White House. But so she laughs at the idea. 2 weeks later, they announce that they're going to do it. But they said, we'll do it after the Omicron surge. So yeah, millions of cases a day. 9/11s every other day. In some areas during the December-January Omicron surge, it was 9/11s every day. And the Biden administration was like, all right, we'll give you some tests, but wait until 3 weeks after the surge to be able to order them, and then wait an additional 3 weeks to be able to get them. So most people got their tests in the middle of February 2021, and now, or 2022, I should say. And now March of 2022 comes around. All of a sudden, epidemiologists and virologists, the same ones who in April of 2020 said that there would be variants coming about, the same ones that in August of 2021 said that the Delta variant was going to be a problem, the same ones that in November of 2021 said that the Omicron variant was going to be a problem, telling everyone, sounding the alarm. Now they are all saying in March of 2022, yeah, there's a new variant coming around. The WHO decides not to give it a Greek alphabet name. Instead, it's just BA2. Why didn't they do that? Oh, they didn't want to scare people. If they give it another Greek alphabet name, then, oh, what if it's just like Omicron? Whoa! Well, we found out that the BA2 variant, more contagious than Omicron. So, but, okay, whatever. Whatever. BA2 variant now accounting for 75% of all new cases. In April, here we are, fast forwarding to April of 2022, the CDC announces that it's changing all of their metrics. What used to be considered high transmission is now low transmission. That's right. They, like when you, we're playing a card game like Yu-Gi-Oh! And like there's a new set that comes out, and the only thing that it does is it just like makes everything have bigger numbers. Like the strategy is identical. It's just power creep. When you're playing an MMO and they release an expansion, and all the expansion does is just like, now it's instead of you're fighting enemies with 10,000 damage, you're fighting enemies with 100,000 damage. It's just power creep. Right? That's what the CDC decided to do with their transmission guidelines. So now all of a sudden, what used to be high transmission is low transmission. They just like tripled all the numbers. So, okay, great. And also, now they're changing the metrics of what even counts as COVID. If you are not hospitalized, we're not going to report you to international statistics agencies. You have to be hospitalized with COVID. That's right, on your deathbed at death's door to even count as having COVID. So that's why all the case numbers are going down. But there's one metric we can use called wastewater processing, finding out the amount of COVID found in the sewage systems. Now, again, these are lagging indicators because it's not like, we don't have, piped up all to everyone's toilets directly. You have to wait until things are processed and then we can manage. So wastewater processing is finding that we may already be knee deep in this surge. We're seeing lots of figures online, mayors, leaders, governors, the Speaker of the House, people that people know, like actors, podcasters, everyone's getting COVID all of a sudden. Now, again, I forgot to mention the State of the Union. Last month, Joe Biden declares victory for the second time on COVID. Last month, 1 month ago, I guess maybe 5 weeks, he declared victory. We did it. Take your masks off, America. Well, apparently behind the scenes, they are not learning any lessons. I guess in front of the scenes, they're not learning any lessons. But behind the scenes, they're still not learning any lessons because, their public policy is what really matters. But they kind of know that they may have made a bad bet. That's what it seems like. They may have bet wrong. They may have bet incorrectly. Who would have thought that when you bet on the same thing 5 times in a row and you lose every time, that the 6th time isn't the charm? The White House is publicly arguing that the country has finally arrived at a promising new stage in the pandemic fight, one that a recent spike in COVID cases won't spoil. Infections may be rising all across the Northeast, but top Biden officials note that vaccines and tests are widely available, and new therapeutics are capable of staving off severe illness. After a year consumed by the public health crisis, the administration says this time it actually is okay to stay calm and carry on. First of all, vaccines are effective for people that get them, but they do not control the spread if not everyone gets them. If people are not getting vaccinated and they get sick and spread it to all of their fucking sick friends and everyone else in their communities are getting sick and the virus mutates and becomes more evasive to vaccination, those who get vaccinated and have gotten vaccinated are getting fucked over. We need mandatory vaccination now. Mandatory vaccination. Strap them down, tie them down, get the belts, tie them fucking down to the bed, and fucking vaccinate them. That is the only way out of this. That's the only way out of this crisis. There's no other option. And also, the idea of the CDC, what does the CDC stand for? Have we forgotten? It's the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Saying, if you get it, maybe we'll treat you. By the way, they stopped funding COVID care for uninsured people. If you're uninsured, fuck it. You're on your own, bitch. So, not everyone has access to these quote-unquote therapeutics and treatments. Right? That doesn't help people that get long COVID, that get sick, and then 30 to 40% of people that get sick never fully recover. Maybe they won't die. That's great. But maybe they're going to have neurological disabilities for the rest of their life. The government doesn't care. Quote, if you think about where we are at as a country, we are at a really good moment. Ashish Jha, the White House's new COVID-19 response coordinator, said during an appearance on NPR this week, we're in reasonably good shape. This person belongs in jail. Full stop. Do not pass go, motherfucker. Do not get that $200. Go the fuck to jail. This person, never heard of them before, they belong in jail, in prison, for mass murder. This is mass murder. To lie to Americans with your prestigious title of COVID response coordinator and to lie to people and tell them there's no problem. That is fucking crazy. This person belongs in jail. So does everyone in the White House and the CDC, by the way. But this person, anyone saying blatant falsehoods and lies on behalf of the government, this is Trump tier lying garbage. You'd expect this from Trump. I mean, if you knew anything about Democrats, you'd expect this from Democrats too. But this is no different than how Trump handled the start of the pandemic. Oh, it's just 15 cases. Totally fine. Under control. We have 15 cases. We know where they are. And they're under control. Everything will be fine. It's the same thing. This is the same thing. Underneath the displays of confidence, however, is simmering anxiety. Biden officials and others close to the federal response privately acknowledge that the next few weeks will determine whether the White House has truly entered a new era or managed to misread the moment once again. Now, as my favorite president in the world once said,
there's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Well, unless you're Joe Biden. And so we need to update George W. Bush's old slogan, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, shame on you. 4th time, shame on you. 5 times, and then you're going to fool me again for the 6th time? If you're Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, that would be the updated slogan. Fool me 20 times, and I'll never learn a lesson. Despite increasing COVID caseloads in 31 states, does anyone know how many states there are? There's 50, right? 31 is the majority of states. This is not like, if it was like 3 states, okay, maybe 1, 31 is a majority. The administration believes there's little evidence that the uptick, driven by the more contagious BA2 subvariant, will reach the heights of the Omicron and Delta waves that preceded it. Did they need? This is the capitalist, like, infection of the brain garbage. Like, oh, it won't be as bad as Omicron, therefore we won't do anything to prevent it? What if it's like half of how bad the Omicron surge was? Or like 3/4. It wasn't as bad. Huh? Omicron was really fucking bad. I wouldn't want even a quarter or a 5th or a 7th or a 10th of as bad as Omicron. They're like, as long as it's not, as bad as Omicron, it's all good. More encouragingly, COVID hospitalizations have remained largely flat, a sign that vaccines and treatment are ensuring far few people suffer serious symptoms, and a boon to the theory that the U.S. can more safely live with the virus. The most important thing the vaccines are doing is keeping people away from the hospital and the morgue, said John Moore, a virologist at Cornell University's Weill Cornell Medicine. Yes, is it good to prevent that? But again, that's not how you fight a pandemic. Like, you have to control the spread and eliminate the spread. Otherwise, it's just going to keep moving around and like the flu. The flu kills like 30 to 40,000 people a year. And that's unacceptable. We need to be studying how we fucking can better combat this stuff. How we can rearrange society so that 30 to 40 people, 1,000 people a year don't die from the flu. And it's seemingly going to be the case that that number is going to be the low end. If living with COVID is a thing, how many people have died this year from COVID? So this is thousands of people dying nearly every day. Still, the climbing case count has put some health officials on edge. They've spent recent days searching for hints that a bigger resurgence is on the way. Searching for hints. How come I have been sounding the alarm on this for 2 months and somehow the people that are in this Politico article are still like, they're like archaeologists, right? Like they're trying to, we're searching. How can we find it? Stupid, dumb bitch fucking podcaster had all this information 2 fucking months ago. What do you mean you're searching for hints? It's fucking mid-April, you cocksucker. Shit's ridiculous. Unnerved by the steep increases that have already hit Europe and concerned that poor data collection is obscuring signs of a similar boom already underway here. Exactly, the CDC has changed all metrics of data collection. Something that you would imagine would happen under Trump, but no. Last time I checked, Biden is president. Reminder, Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. Joe Biden won the 2020 election. That's because a significant proportion of new cases are going unreported. Due to the prevalence at at-home tests, individuals may test positive but not reported. It's a reality that Xia has cited to bolster the administration's case for refocusing attention on the still low hospitalizations as a key metric rather than infections. Getting sick is something you want to avoid. I don't want to get sick. I definitely don't want to die, and if I get sick, I'd prefer not to die, but my ideal scenario, let's just not get sick in the first place, but apparently that's too much to ask for. Some experts working on the response believe the undercounting is more severe than has been publicly acknowledged, with one administration official estimating the government is only recording 1 out of every 6 new cases. So that would mean by official metrics, according to this person, official metrics times 6 is where we're actually at. The data gap has fed internal concerns over how exactly the government should publicly message the seriousness of the situation. This is a classic cover-up. Again, Trump, the most criminal gangster president who's ever stepped foot in the White House, this is something that he wishes he could have gotten away with. This is a wide, mass-scale government cover-up, and who's in charge? Joe Biden. Who's in charge? Democrats. Covering up extensively what's happening in this country. People say, oh, the big lie, the big lie. You know what else is a big fucking lie? This COVID fucking data collection. That's a big fucking lie. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be real. If we want to compare big lies, Donald Trump's versus Joe Biden's, which one has killed more people? Which one has killed more people? Now, if you want to pretend like it's okay that the government failed to combat the Delta variant, I'll accept your position on that. Failing to combat the Omicron variant, unacceptable. If you think that that's okay, fuck you, go fuck yourself. And if you think what they're doing at this point is okay, fuck you, go fuck yourself. Anastasia, according to the CDC, there were between 12 and 52,000 cases of death from the flu. Well, okay, I may have been wrong. Hold up. Where's the 30 to 40,000 metric? Fact check. That might just be general deaths from healthcare. Okay, my bad. Fact check. It's 30 to 40,000 people die just from lack of healthcare, not from the flu. So my apologies. Thank you, Anastasia. I appreciate that. Let's keep going. They're like, we don't know if this is something to be worried about or not, said one person close to the White House. But you can't tell the public that. This is why I like Politico sometimes. Sometimes, you know, it's the gossip rag. You know what I mean? In one sign of the uncertainty within parts of the administration, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Wednesday announced it would keep mask mandates for public transportation in place for another 2 weeks. None of this means anything. I don't know where you live. Every time I leave the house, no one wears masks. Anywhere. Nowhere. No one is like, oh, is the mask man? Let me check. We're going to go on the bus. Oh, the mask mandate's in effect until next Friday, so let's get our masks, everyone. No one does that. When you take the mask mandate away at any point, no one's going to be checking. No one's, oh, I'm going to get an Uber. Well, let me check. The CDC is the mask mandate still in effect? It looks like it's in effect from 8 a.m. to 12:30. Well, let's look at, oh, it's 12:27. So no one does that. No one does that. Like, let's be honest. Should they do that? Yes. No one does that. I don't do that. I just wear my mask all the time. I don't give a fuck about what the mask mandate says. Anyone saying, oh, well, the CDC said take your masks off, and they actually take, they're a fucking moron. The CDC is a genocidal organization. The CDC is a eugenicist organization controlled by neo-Nazis. Full stop. In the days leading up to Wednesday's announcement, some health officials argued that keeping the transportation mandate in place would be out of step with the administration's broader policy approach and the nation's overall mood. Two people with knowledge of the matter said. Others countered that lifting mask requirements risked looking premature. Like, so this is all crying over, what about our optics? What about publicity? What about the publicity? What are they going to say about us? How are they going to answer a poll? That's what they're worried about. They don't care about millions and millions and millions of people's lives. The only thing they care about is a fucking poll. You can read the rest of this if you'd like. It's the same, it's the general, it's just more information on the gist. Behind the scenes, they're fucking scared shitless because they know that they fucked up for the 7th fucking time. But publicly, they're gonna lie to your face and smile. Fuck you, I hope your mom dies. I hope your dad dies. I hope your grandma dies. I hope your sister dies. I hope your dog dies. I hope your best friend dies. Fuck you, go to work. That's what they're gonna say in public. I'd rather them say that, to be honest. I'd rather them say that. But they don't give a shit. They will never give a shit. This government is a genocidal, corrupt administration, a regime, if you will. A fucking regime, I would say. And it's unacceptable. It's refreshing to see an adult response to incorrect info as opposed to double and tripling down. Are you talking about me? Yeah, the 30 to 40,000 a year is excess deaths from lack of healthcare. I confused that with the flu. My apologies. But it's still similarly, rhetorically speaking, right? Just the idea that we're okay with 30 to 40,000 people dying a year when we could just not have them die. Rhetorically speaking, the point still stands. It's just I used the incorrect example. Doubling down. Not the dogs! If these nuts hadn't brainwashed all the dumb people here, I think masks would have been popular. You mean to tell me I don't need to catch a cold? Sign me up. These motherfuckers? Like, I trust my immune system! 3 weeks later, like, I mean, I love it every time. Like, those fucking, like, we need to have, like, a funnily edited movie, like a comedy movie, right? Where it's just, like, you play all the clips of the anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers. I trust my immune system. Freedom. 6 weeks later, like, they're just on the dumb motherfuckers. God. And then, like, have, like, the Dark Souls, like, you died screen come up. There we go. Someone make this. Maybe I'll have to make this. Like, the fucking, I trust my immune system. 6 weeks later, it shows them in their deathbed. And then have the Dark Souls, you died, come up. Oh, we gotta have, like, a death counter. And then just do every single one you can find. Yeah, or the Grand Theft Auto. Like, yep. Grand Theft Auto, that's good, too. Wasted. I mean, fuck them. Fuck them. Honestly, when they die, it makes me happy because I know that they're not going to fuck around in the future. Fuck them. We're talking about the anti-maskers, like the explicitly, like, pro-Trump, anti-science people. Not the people that get caught up and die as a result of them, and actually followed the rules and tried to, do their best, but they just have a shithead in their family. I've seen and read plenty of stories where someone, like, they just live with their family. There's like 3 or 4 people in the house, like maybe 5 people. One of them is a Trumper, gets COVID, the whole house gets COVID, half of the household dies, even though it's like, it's one of their faults or something. So I'm not talking to the people that just get fucked over. I'm talking to the people that explicitly have gone out of their way to fuck people over like that. Smoking hot. Whoa. Whoa. The movie Countdown. It's like COVID Countdown for the unvaccinated. I haven't seen it, but I'll have to check it out. Okay, y'all. Hello, Sal. All right. I mentioned this the other day. There was a police shooting, murder, execution in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the body camera video has been released. So-called body camera video has been released. What's interesting about this body camera is that it appears that the body camera was turned off before the actual murder takes place. And we're, of course, talking about Patrick Lyoya in Grand Rapids, Michigan, murdered by the police department. I want to play some snippets of this body camera footage, and then I want to show some news that has happened over this is about a week ago now, but the footage just came out. Now, again, it's very interesting that the footage does not show the complete murder. I'm not sure if there's another angle. I'm not sure if there's, I don't know what exactly is going on with that, but this is the footage that has been released. Let's watch.
Car. Dude, I'm stopping you. You have a license? Do you have a license?
So, just to be clear, we don't know exactly, obviously, what happens before this point. But it appears that they were stopped, asked to get their license, tried to do so, was harassed, and then, you know what happens.
For what? I'm stopping you. Do you have a license?
What that?
Do you have a driver's license? Do you speak English?
Yes.
Can I see your license?
What do you want?
The plate doesn't belong on this car. Do you have a license or no? Do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
Where is it at?
It's in the car.
Get it for me.
What do you want?
The plate does not belong on this car.
So, I don't know exactly what that means. Do they have a plate reader? And then they could, I don't know. I don't know what the plate does not belong on this car means. I assume it's like an expired plate. Or it's like someone swapped the plates at some point. That's my assumption. But, okay. So it appears that they're asking someone in the passenger seat to get the identification. It seems that they're having trouble doing so. And then, so Patrick decides to try to get it himself. And this is where police decide to escalate the scenario.
No. Stop. Put your hands right.
So once again, let's just, up to this point, okay? The cop asks him to get the license. Someone in the passenger seat appears to not be able to find it. So he goes to get it himself. He's following the cop's orders. And then the cop just jumps all over him and starts escalating the situation.
1915. Got one running.
So this part to me struck me as the most insidious. So Patrick decides to run. Now, it is a very obvious human reaction, right? It is a human reaction. If someone decides to, like, I don't know, you see the news of what's going on, you know that you're probably about to be murdered by cops. What's your reaction? Let me try to run for my life. Let me try to run for my life. I know how this story ends. And the police officer says, quote, got one running. Like, that is just like, I like the mentality that produces such a statement. Got one running. One what is what I'm asking. One what? What's running? Now, we know police in this country, founded as slave patrols. Their original purpose was to chase down and find and execute escaped slaves. So,
1915, you got one running. Northbound. Stop! Stop!
So once again, what is Patrick LaLoya accused of? Having the incorrect plates. Who knows if this is his car? Maybe it's a friend's car. Who knows? Maybe they just bought the car and there's a problem with it and they didn't know it yet. Maybe they just bought the car and they haven't actually gotten the proper registration yet. Who knows? Is he a suspect in a mass murder scandal? Why do you feel the need to chase him? If he wants to run away and he's so, like, is he dangerous? Does he have nuclear bombs at his house and you have to get him now? It's a traffic stop. So the rest of this video, it shows, again, once again, very interesting, that the video camera stops here.
Let go of the taser!
So, Patrick appears to grab the taser as a way not to take it from him, but to just prevent himself from being shot by it. And as you can see here, during the struggle, the cop had the great idea to turn the body camera off. So, protests have been going for the last couple of days. Since April 9th was when I saw the first coverage of protest. I mentioned this on the show a while ago. And protests have been getting larger and larger over the course of the days since. And as we can see here, this is from yesterday when the body camera footage was debated being released. So as you can see, the crowds from April 9th to April 13th growing significantly. The attention on this case seems to be getting more and more and more. But anyway, it's interesting that the cop decided to turn the camera off. Right? But like, my life is in danger. They're apparently grabbing at my taser. I don't even know why I'm chasing them. Well, I want to kill this person. I feel like I've earned my kill. So, you know, but before we do that, let me turn my camera off. If my life is in danger, if I'm fearing for my safety because a black man is running away from me, I'm not going to turn my camera off. I want my exculpatory evidence. I want everyone to see that when I shot Patrick LaLoya in the back of the head by the not the front of the head, not in the front of his body anywhere, the back of the head, which implies that he's running away. But if my life is my life is in danger, I want everyone to see my life is in danger. Look, the black man was running away from me, and we know that like, I don't know, black men can like sprout machine guns from their backs and shoot me. So when their back is facing me, actually, I'm in more danger or something. Don't you want people to see that? Why is your first instinct to turn the camera off right before you shoot someone in the back of the head? Why do they feel the need to chase him, first of all? Why do they feel the need to shoot him in the head over a traffic stop? Again, does Patrick have nuclear bombs at his house? Has he threatened to destroy the whole planet? If he gets back to his house, he's going to push the big red button and we're all going to go boom? What? What is he runs away. You fucking send a citation to him, make him appear in court, and then that's it. You don't have to shoot him in the fucking head. And again, once again, What happened with the escalation of that scenario? Obviously, again, the cop asked him to do something. He went to do what the cop requested, and that's when the cop escalated. The cop asked him to go inside the car and get the license. He went to do so, and for that, he was murdered. Following the cop's instructions is what got him murdered. He followed every step of the way. He did what the cop wanted him to do, and then got killed for it. So the people that go, just comply, bruh. Just comply. So I've got an article here. I've got an article here from MLive. Grand Rapids, Michigan protesters wanted to send a message Wednesday to the Grand Rapids Police Department loud and clear, "Stop murdering us." It was one of the many chants that filled the air outside of the police department Wednesday, April 13, 2 hours after Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom released footage of an officer fatally shooting a black man, Patrick Laloya, after an April 4 traffic stop. "Say his name," a few hundred protesters shouted. Loyoya's 26 was shot and killed by a white officer who has not yet been named around 8 a.m. at an intersection on the city's southeast side. A cell phone video from bystanders shows the officer shoot Loyoya while is on the ground. The fucking writing here. Struggling with the officer, Winstrom said the fatal shot was to the head during a Wednesday press conference at City Hall. If you want to look up the actual video, I don't like showing the video that involves people actually dying. It's it's just, you can look that up if you want to see it. In response, protesters first gathered around 5 p.m. downtown by Rosa Parks Circle. Before marching to police department with them, they brought signs that read "Justice for Patrick" and donning t-shirts that said "Black Lives Matter." As protesters began to arrive in large packs on Monroe Center, speakers used a megaphone and displayed their frustrations with police brutality, not just in Grand Rapids, but in the entire country. For nearly an hour, they stood together, wanting answers and demanding charges for the officer involved in the shooting. Once again, involved in the shooting, by the way. As if the shooting is like a weather event. Like, it's like where they're like, like twisters, like they're going to cover tornadoes. And then they got picked up in the tornado but managed to live to tell the tale. They were involved in the twister. As if this is like just some naturally occurring thing that happens. It's like, a river with flowing water. Just happened to be involved. They fucking shot the gun. They weren't involved in the shooting. And second of all, 98% of cops that kill people do not get charged. If you're innocent, shouldn't you want to be proven innocent? Shouldn't you want a trial of your peers to declare that you did nothing wrong? So why not? What's the problem with going to trial and being found innocent? Why are they so afraid of going to trial? It's because they know, in a lot of these cases, if they did go to trial, they would lose. So what they do is they rig the system so that they don't have to go ever face trial. Now, once again, this cop right now, currently getting paid vacation. Kent County prosecutors in a statement released Wednesday said no decision will be made on potential charges against the officer until state police investigation is finished. The shooting is still being investigated by the Michigan State Police. Now what this is, what they are doing here is they're just kicking the can down the road, trying to run out the clock so that people forget what's going on. They're going to announce that their investigation was inconclusive. Probably in a week from now, maybe 2 weeks. We don't really know. Around 6 p.m., protesters then marched a few blocks down Monroe Center towards the Grand Rapids Police Department, continually shouting, "Name the killer cop." They passed a few businesses that chose up to board up. The writing here is horrible. They chose to board up as a precaution ahead of the video being released. "Name the murderer," the growing number of protesters chanted outside the barricaded police department. Many raised their hands, holding clenched fists, and some displayed the middle finger. Ooh. Again, this is how media talks about this kind of stuff, but 98% of the time, they don't get charged. So nothing will happen. This cop will have vacation, watch a couple weeks of Netflix. Let's catch up on the new shows that came out. Oh, I heard that there's a merger with, I don't know, whatever, streaming service. Let's go watch some new shows. Maybe I can use my government-funded paycheck to buy a video game console, play some PlayStation 4 or whatever the new one is. I don't know. And then again, this is what always happens. There's going to be an inconclusive investigation. Now, they're not going to say he was innocent, but they're not going to say he's guilty. They just don't know. They have no idea. Could be anything. Anything's possible. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. And then, once again, cops kill 3 people every day in this country, by the way. So since Patrick Laloya was murdered on April 4th, statistically speaking, there's been about 30 more police killings. Now, we can go and figure out if that's true or not, right? But statistically speaking, about 3 deaths per day from police. This country will never change. Again, I want to just note, we've got one running. One what? I wonder if you ask that cop, why did you say you got one running? And what is the one referring to? Again, police, as they are in this country, founded from slave patrols. The DNA of policing in this country is directly passed down from slave patrols. Now, am I saying that we don't need law enforcement? We need some way of controlling things somehow, right? What I'm saying is the entire structure of policing in this country needs to fucking go down the tubes. It's fucking done. It's a failed experiment. It's a failed experiment. Throw it in the trash. Start over. It's pretty ridiculous. I wouldn't say that we need cops. I would say that we should get rid of all terminology in relation. Like, I would say we don't need officers, we don't need cops, we don't need... Like, do we need some way of enforcing laws? Sure. But my opinion is start from fucking scratch. Don't bring any of this infrastructure and need to just destroy... In my opinion, demolish every police station and build a new one from the ground up. Because just every aspect of policing is so distorted by, again, slave patrol mentality, that none of it could be reused. Every single person who's ever applied to be a police officer should be banned. Should be banned from holding any form of power ever for the rest of their lives. So if we have a new system... You get all the roles of any, like, former cops, current cops, people that applied to be cops and were rejected, and ban them all. Ban every single one of them immediately, because if they even had the idea once ever at all to join policing as it is right now, they cannot be trusted. My opinion. Like, there's more than enough people in this world, in this society, there's more than enough people that would want to take those roles. We don't need to risk it with some of these fucking meathead fucking mass murderers. That's one of the other problems with policing is most of the time police don't even live in the city that they police. And that's by design. Like when you look at these big cities, right? Like let's take Minneapolis or something as an example, right? Most of the cops that are on patrol in Minneapolis, I think it was like 70 or 80% of them, I read it like as of 2020 or something, don't actually live in Minneapolis. They live in the surrounding suburbs. Why is that? Why? Because if you recognize people, you're more likely to treat them as humans. And so the mostly white police force go to police a city that they don't live in, right? Where, a lot of the cities have higher black populations, right? And it's a way to dehumanize them. It's a way of like speciation. Where it's like they're going to the zoo. This mentality. This is what cops say. They specifically say it's better if we can't recognize anyone because that way we treat them fairly. And in their version, fair is shoot them in the back of the head. If you're beating the shit out of someone and then flip them over and then see, oh shit, I went to 3rd grade with this guy, what the fuck's going on? You might have a little ounce of humanity leak out. So that's why most cops don't even live in the neighborhoods that they police. Now, that's not to say that if you just like had to police your own neighborhood that all of a sudden that would fix the problem. But it's just one of many problems. Got like fucking sock indent. I slept with my socks on, I guess. I've got like an indentation on my leg from the sock. Still there, apparently. Maybe is that like a disease? I don't know. Still got some more shit to talk about. More shit to talk about. It's my new song called More Shit to Talk About. Single being released very soon. Alright, so let's lighten the mood a little bit. Police unions are just Klan meetings. That's it. There's no difference. Dehydrated? I'm very hydrated. I drink 1 liter of water in the morning. ASAP. ASAP means as soon as possible. I'm overhydrated. That's true. All right. Dianne Feinstein. More like, can you just die? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Wink. Colleagues worry Dianne Feinstein is now mentally unfit to serve, citing recent interactions. More like, please, for the love of everyone in this country, just Dianne Feinstein is going crazy. When a California Democrat in Congress recently engaged in an extended conversation with Senator Dianne Feinstein, they prepared for a rigorous policy discussion like those they'd had with with her many times over the last 15 years. Instead, the lawmaker said they had to reintroduce themselves to Feinstein multiple times during an interaction that lasted several hours. Once again, The hugging of Lindsey Graham. Oh, it's so great to be here. Oh. During fucking the Amy Coney Barrett hearing. Oh, I'm glad to see you. Why are we here again, Lindsey? Why are we here? Oh, it's so great to be here to nominate. Who are we nominating? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I think. Who's up for? Who is that? Rather than delve into policy, Feinstein, 88, repeated the same small talk questions, like asking the lawmaker what mattered to voters in their district. Oh my god. They said, with no apparent recognition, the two had already had a similar conversation. Now, again, this is sad. Now, I don't want to make it seem like I'm laughing at mental illness. I'm not. I'm laughing at the fact that our country is run in such a way where those that are clearly not capable of serving are still able to serve because other people enable it. Other people enable this. This is elder abuse. And I said the same thing when Joe Biden was being propped up during the primary. Shit's elder abuse. Now, we need to judge this on a case-by-case basis. Someone like Bernie Sanders, that motherfucker's sharp as a whip. You ask Bernie Sanders, what matters to voters, and he'll give you a fucking, 90-minute feature-length film worth of what, information that matters to voters, and not repeat himself a single time, unless it's on purpose, for the sake of driving a message home. You ask Joe Biden to do that? You ask Dianne Feinstein? You ask, Nancy Pelosi? Nancy Pelosi can barely fucking string a sentence together these days. My God. What is Chuck Grassley doing these days? He's going to Dairy Queen, apparently. Anyone see that shit? Anyway. The episode was so unnerving that the lawmaker who spoke to the Chronicle on condition they not be identified because of the sensitivity of the topic began raising concerns with colleagues to see if some kind of intervention to persuade Feinstein to retire was possible. Feinstein's term runs through the end of 2024. My God. The conversation occurred several weeks before the death of her husband in February. Well, no wonder she doesn't want to quit. She's got nothing, she's going to retire and then sit in the chair and go like this all day. She's got nothing to live for. Am I allowed, to make these jokes? I mean, she is a sitting senator, right? But, I mean, Anyone ever see that movie with the dog in the backyard? I'm just making jokes. Just to be honest, just to be clear. I think she should step down for her health. Her children should take care of her. That's it. I mean, whoa. I have worked with her for a long time and long enough to know that she was just like, what she was like just a few years ago. Always in command, always in charge, on top of the details. Basically couldn't resist a conversation where she was driving some bill or some idea. All of that is gone, the lawmaker said. She was an intellectual and political force. No, she wasn't. Let's be real. No, she wasn't. She's garbage. She's always been garbage. But, they're buttering her up. Buttering her biscuits. And that's why my encounter with her was so jarring. Because there was no trace of that. She's gone. Motherfucker's gone. That motherfucker is gone. I've had family members that have had dementia. And, sometimes talking to them when you're hanging out. Family get-togethers. You're there for a couple hours, couple days. They get up, go to the bathroom, they come back. Oh, I haven't seen you in years. No, you just saw me 5 minutes ago, Grandpa. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Now, it sucks. It's sad. It's horrifying, They shouldn't be senators. They should be chilling at home in a comfortable area. Living their best life, not being senators, flying around the fucking country and making these bad, really important decisions. Four U.S. senators, including 3 Democrats, as well as 3 former Feinstein staffers. Is it Feinstein? I don't know. And the California Democratic member of the Congress told the Chronicle in recent interviews that her memory is rapidly deteriorating. They said it appears she can no longer fulfill her job duties without her staff doing much of the work required to represent the nearly 40 million people of California. Like, that's the thing. Feinstein is not like some dumb fuck senator from, like, you know, like Wyoming or something. Like, she represents 40 million people. Right? Like, this isn't like, oh, I'm from shitfuck North Dakota. No one lives here. No one cares. She's from goddamn California. They said that the memory lapses do not appear to be constant and that some days she is nearly as sharp as she used to be. During the March confirmation hearing for soon-to-be Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, Feinstein appeared composed as she read pertinent questions, though she repeats comments, blah, blah, blah. There's the hug. That fucking infamous hug. It's bad. It's getting worse, said one Democratic senator. This person said that within the Senate, Feinstein has difficulty keeping up with conversations and discussions. There's a joke on the Hill. We've got a junior senator. We've got a great junior senator in Alex Padilla and an experienced staff in Feinstein's office. That's a good joke. That's a good joke. Anyway, she's losing it. Elder abuse. In my opinion, the hug at the ACB hearing, that's the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Get rid of her. Get rid of her. Like, why is she still there? Does anyone know? Does anyone know why she is still there? Oh, because elder abuse. Everyone's too fucking cowardly to do anything about it. They don't care about California. They don't care about the state of California. They don't care about the people that live there. They don't give a fuck. They're all cowards. They're spineless little fucking bitches. They're afraid to do anything. They don't care about the sanctity of the Senate. They don't care about serving the American people. They don't give a fuck. It's all about ego. It's all about prestige. That's fucking it. They don't give a fuck about anything. You think Chuck Schumer gives a fuck about American people? If he did, he would do so many other things. One, including replacing Dianne Feinstein. He doesn't care. Nancy Pelosi doesn't care. She's also losing her marbles. You think Joe Biden even knows who Dianne is? Probably not. Anyway, she needs to go. Just a reminder, there is stream delay. So, if you hear me say something, I said it 15 seconds to 30 seconds beforehand. Just throwing that out there. Why is there a delay? That's just how YouTube works. Mila voted in every election that Diane's ever been in, and against Diane every step of the way. and it's 7 seconds. Well, I've got news for you, Environmental Coffee House. The delay changes. And it also depends, like, it changes, first of all. If you, here's a quick tip. Quick tips for the quick tips for the ultimate optimal guide on how to watch the Above It All live show experience. When you play the show, in fact, hold up. I'm doing a bit. Okay. When you got the show, the live show, when you're watching the program, that's me on the screen today. That's you when you're watching this, and you're watching for a while. Oh, show's an hour in. Whoa, how long has it been? An hour. The show's been going on for an hour. Sometimes, without knowing it, there'll be small buffers. Check this out, right? So what I want you to do is go to the settings, playback speed, 2x, watch the show on 2x. You might be thinking, what? How's that possible? I thought I was watching a live show. Well, there's miniature buffers. Oh no, it's happening. There's miniature, there's buffers. So you put it on 2x, you're going forward in time. You're going to see what I'm going to say before I even say it, right? No, that's because there's about a 15 to 30 second delay period. So if you watch the show from if you're here when the show turns on, you might be like 10 to 15 seconds before someone who pops in just now. Why? Because there's the miniature buffers that happen, and it's sometimes it just like the stream rate is at like it's a 59.97 versus 60 FPS kind of thing. Eventually things will desynchronize in that way. So in my opinion, if you're watching a live stream, I don't know, every once in a while, just turn it on 2x if you want to be caught up. Because then what it'll do is it'll catch up a little bit, buffer a little bit, and then you'll be right up to the date. And that was tips and tricks for the optimal viewing experience Above It All show. Good morning, Matt. Can Newsom replace I think she needs to step down, but then he would nominate the successor. I think it's just a point. I don't even think it's a nomination. It's just whatever they say. Yeah, that's right. This is a mind-bending show. What am I eating in the thumbnail? That's a great question. But guess what? Guess what, Courtney? This proves beyond the shadow of a doubt. The doubt had shadows. That you clearly do not follow me on Twitter, because if you did, you would have seen this post on Twitter.com. That's right. I was eating Brussels sprouts for breakfast. There you go. Oh, what a beautiful person. That's me. I'm on the screen. Well, I'm off the screen now, but I was on the screen. The quantum playback speed will put you on an alternate timeline. That's true. Yo, I want to tell a story. This doesn't look tasty. Fuck you, Rodan. It's good as fuck. It's got sauce all over it. I had like a fucking dark ass sauce, Cover that shit in sauce. Like when you fucking put your chicken nuggies, your dinosaur shaped fucking chicken nuggies in barbecue sauce, that doesn't look appealing. It's just a bunch of fucking black goop all over like a mass. Sauce. There's sauce on that bitch, motherfucker. You ever heard of sauce? Oh. Bone in? No. I didn't. Wait, I just remembered. I'm doing a show. Fuck. I'm doing a show. Hold Well, I mean, most of the people that are eating nuggies aren't eating them plant-based, I will tell you. Teaching people about calories on Twitter. I haven't had Impossible chicken nuggies, but I had tofu nuggies. They're good. I've made my own. Fago vodka sauce. Mila has a FWIW. I didn't vote against Di-Fi every time she ran. Sometimes I was living in another state. Oh! Mila! Tennessee senator says Hitler made something of himself after being homeless. And you can too. That's amazing. Am I Australian? Maybe. Well, actually, if you watch episode 2 of the second iteration, aka episode 10 or something, of Cooking with the Bitch, you'll see a little preview of next week's ep. And that's pretty much exactly what I make, just crispy tofu bites. You could call them nuggies if you want. Mila's been voting against Di-Fi for 50 years. 50 years ago was when I first cast my ballot for whoever was running against Di-Fi. Am I South African? Oh my god. Will be how to fry tofu properly. That's exactly right. Watch yesterday's ep. Watch yesterday's ep. Alright, let's do another fucking thing. Let's do it. I'm doing a show. So I do this show, and on this show we talk about things like Space Guy, rocket ship, car, truck, cyber truck, car man. Elon Musk offers to buy Twitter and takeover attempt. Reading from The Verge, this came out this morning. The other day on my show, everyone was very curious. Why didn't Elon Musk join the board? Why didn't he join the board? It was very obvious. He didn't want to be constrained by the rules of the board. He didn't want to sign any extra contracts or do anything willy-nilly like that. He just wants to take over the motherfucker. Duh! I told you that the other day. No one believed me. They're like, bah, 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 bah. Anyway, let's read. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is making, isn't he like the fucking like, what is it, like the techno king of Tesla technically? Honestly, that's like the only cool thing Elon Musk has done. I will be honest with y'all. Changing the name of like CEO at the company, that's pretty badass. I will say that is the only thing he's done that's interesting. Is making his best and final offer to buy 100% of Twitter in an updated 13D filed Thursday with the SEC. He's offering $54.20 per share in cash. My question is, if I buy a share of Twitter and hold out, are they going to fucking take it from me? Are they going to take my fucking Twitter share? In fact, the stock market's open. I'm going to buy a share of Twitter right now. You can pry it from my cold, dead motherfuck hands, bitch. You will never. I'm buying a share right now. You will never get my share of Twitter. It's not happening. Alright, y'all. It's happening. I'm in. I'm in. That motherfucker's not getting my share. I got a whole share of Twitter, and you can't have it. So, how's that? $54.20 per share? How about $54,020 per tenth of a share? Huh? Bitch? Not happening. All right. Naturally, Musk had to sneak a 420 into the... Oh, you did the 420! Weed! Weed! Oh my god! Musk's wealth hovers around $260 billion, according to Bloomberg. Twitter's market valuation is about $37 billion. Musk's offer values Twitter at about $43 billion. Musk is offering to acquire all of the outstanding common stock of the issuer not owned by the reporting person for all cash, considering value of the common stock. Look at all these terms. I think I'm going to stop smoking weed now. You got to start smoking weed. We can't let this motherfucker control the weed lingo. The proposal was delivered in a letter on Twitter on April 13. Musk says Twitter must go private to undergo changes that need to be made. I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe. And I believe free speech is a societal imperative for a functioning democracy. Reminder, Elon Musk's idea of free speech involves his Tesla companies having all the black workers in the lowest managerial positions, like the common workers working on the floor at the factories, and all the white managers call them racist language, such as the N-word. That's free speech. In Elon Musk's world, just free speech, bro. Elon Musk's version of free speech involves working and taking photos with convicted pedophiles. That's free speech. I was just talking to Ghislaine Maxwell, you know. Goddamn Ghislaine, am I right, people? Free speech. His idea of free speech also involves calling professional divers pedophiles because they saved a group of people that were trapped inside of a cave. Does anyone remember that saga? The people responsible for saving the children and other people trapped in the cave, Elon Musk got mad at them and called them a pedophile for saving people's lives. So, that's it. His idea of free speech is blocking you on Twitter if you make him mad. His idea of free speech is trying to buy people out who posted an AI-generated Twitter account talking about his plane taking off and landing. Even though it's all public information. This guy's not a free... anyone who buys that Elon Musk is like a free speech guy, honestly, dumb as hell. Dumb as hell. Guy's dumb as fuck. Let's be real. This is not a free speech absolutist. I would need to reconsider my position as a shareholder, says Musk, if his offer is not accepted. This is like the classic mafia kind of stuff. I'd have to reconsider my position as a shareholder. I don't know if I want all these shares. I don't know. Maybe I'll crash the fucking market. He's going to try to hold the market. I'll market dump all of my $3 billion worth of shares. I'll type in the zeros, press market sell, and then Twitter's going to go down to like fucking to nothing. He's holding the market hostage. Twitter issued a press release confirming the offer. Yes, we have received the offer. Offer received. Message received. The Twitter board of directors will carefully review the proposal to determine the course of action that it believes is best in the interest of the company and all Twitter stockholders. The board is reportedly meeting at 10 a.m. They're meeting during my show? Are they watching the show right now? It's crazy. They're watching the show at the meeting. Twitter shares are up over 13% pre-market on the news. Tesla shares are down 1.5% on fears that Twitter's number one fan, who already leads Tesla, SpaceX, might become distracted by his new pet. Musk once told Twitter co-founder and ex-CEO Jack Dorsey that it's a bad idea to run two companies simultaneously. Just a bad idea. So anyway, you can read the rest of this if you want. Update 918, added news of Twitter boards, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you can read that if you want. But Elon Musk, obviously he wants to buy Twitter, but why? For the same reason that someone like Jeff Bezos would want to buy the Washington Post. Why? When you control media, you control information. You control how people see the world. You control the subconscious narratives that people build in their minds. You control editorial decisions. You control the algorithms. What content gets pushed to what people? Why would you want to buy a media company? Elon Musk understands Twitter as a concept, as it exists right now, can be used to control the flow of information in serious ways. A lot of news is reported first and live on Twitter. A lot of reporters will use Twitter for live updates. Twitter is used as sources in a lot of things. I use Twitter for my show. When I do news and commentary, a lot of the things I find are from Twitter. If you control Twitter and you can slightly tweak the algorithms and no one knows, it's not like anyone can check the source code on Twitter and see all the algorithms and how that works. You just say, oh, I'm pro free speech. Don't even admit that you made any changes. And all of a sudden, you can start pumping things out to anyone you want about anything you want. Suppress information that's anti-Tesla or anti-SpaceX, or suppress any information about him and his friends. Maybe do targeted bans. And you don't ever have to reveal that. Why? Because it's a private company. Why would you want to control Twitter? Think about it. Elon Musk is building something. In the same way that Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post and constructed his position to where he is now, Elon Musk wants to, he wants to expand his empire. That's what this is. His media empire. He doesn't like negative coverage of him. He wants more and more control over what people are allowed to say about him. He is not a free speech enthusiast. He bans people and blocks people all the time who post articles, right, about him that just accurately report on him not paying taxes, for example. So, definitely not a free speech guy. Let's just put it that way. Definitely not. The Le Pen stuff in France is definitely concerning. I haven't looked into it yet, but I've got a couple things I want to read about it. Reminder, everybody in this show stream chat room. What are you, dumb? What are you, a fucking moron? Well, the answer to those questions would be yes. If you have not watched this episode of Cooking with the Bitch, I will link it in the chat. If you haven't seen this episode, you are dumb, you are a moron, and you're a motherfucker. So come in, watch this when this stream is over. Watch this bullshit. You'll love it. You'll enjoy it. It's amazing. Check it out. Throw it up in another tab. This show will be over probably in 20 minutes. Super platinum $5 super chat. Did Brian got canceled by the Gophers for your interview? I believe he did get canceled by the Gophers. It was amazing to watch. It was very, very enjoyable. Sucks for him, but I enjoy watching the Gophers freak the fuck out about nothing. To me, it's very entertaining. Very entertaining. What sources do you all use for international news? To be honest with you, I don't have any preferred sources for international news. It's very difficult for me to as a non-native, I don't want to throw any biases onto reports, so I just try to read everything. Like I just try to read everything. You know, like I have no, whatever pops up, whatever, any of that, this and that and whatever. I'll look something up and just read like whatever, like 10, 20 articles on it. Just because I just don't know. Even RT, I would definitely read state media. Yeah, I think it's important to know what state media is saying. But I would say I trust state media less than non-state media. But I think it's definitely important to know what state media is saying. I mean, I've got something I want to talk about too. Let's talk about this. This is a follow-up. So, Russia warns of nuclear hypersonic deployment if Sweden and Finland join NATO. So, I saw this online this morning. Over the last couple of days, or I guess weeks, but last couple of days, Finland and Sweden have been openly advocating to join NATO. NATO countries are saying that they are probably willing to accept them. Why? Well, when Russia and Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine began, he just immediately threatened Finland and Sweden that if they were to join NATO, he would use nuclear weapons. That was like within the first week. Say, don't you move, you're next, buddy. Essentially, Finland and Sweden are saying, yikes, I'm going to join fucking NATO because that guy's crazy. So now Finland and Sweden have there's a lot of popularity in the polling in the public from what I am seeing. Now it's possible that these polls are all fake, who knows, but I haven't seen any evidence of that. That the people are more in favor of joining NATO than they ever have been due to Vladimir Putin's recent threats. And so Putin and the Kremlin is responding. So one of Russian President Vladimir Putin's closest allies warned NATO on Thursday, that's today, that if Sweden and Finland joined the US-led military alliance, then Russia would deploy nuclear weapons and hypersonic missiles in an exclave in the heart of Europe. So for those of you that don't know, Russia has control of some of the sea space and a small patch of land that is separated from the rest of the country. Like, imagine if, imagine if, Oklahoma was owned by Canada. Imagine that kind of scenario. And Oklahoma was everything was Canada government, right? That's kind of their situation, for those of you that don't know the geography. And so what they're saying is they're going to basically deploy a bunch of nukes right there. Happens to be in basically the middle of Europe. So Finland, which shares a 810-mile border with Russia, and Sweden are considering joining the NATO alliance. Finland will decide in the next few weeks. Prime Minister Sanna Marin said on Wednesday, read more. I don't know why I read that out loud. I'm high. I'm sorry. Dmitry Medvedev, a deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, said that should Sweden and Finland join NATO, that Russia would have to strengthen its land, naval, and air forces in the Baltic Sea. Medvedev explicitly raised the nuclear threat by saying that there could be no more talk of a nuclear-free Baltic, where Russia has its Kaliningrad exclave sandwiched between Poland and Lithuania. There can be no more talk of any nuclear-free status to the Baltic. The balance must be restored, blah, blah, blah. So, that's crazy. Read more. Read more right there if you want to read more. Yep, that's a little nuts. A little, daily dose of nuclear upping the ante. Little spooky. Felix, I covered this earlier on my show today, actually, so you got to go back and watch the beginning. Yep, I just spilled coffee all over me. Look at that. Yep, I knew I would make a mistake. Damn. Look, there's coffee all in my hair. Look at that. That's fucked up. And I don't have anything. What do I clean it with? I don't have anything to clean it with. Damn. Look at this. This is fucked up. Damn. Alright, I've got this used tissue on my desk. Don't worry about that. Got a used tissue on my desk. Okay. Fuck! How's everyone's day? Is everyone having a good day? Hopefully, people are enjoying the week. Your nails are pretty, thank you. Moving day. Gotta move away from the goddamn fires. I'm very high. I'm extremely high. Yo, let me tell this story actually, because last night... Alright, let me make this a segment. Hold up. Make this a segment. Hold up. So last night, I got high. So wow. Where do I start? Where do I begin? Where do I even start this story? Let's start the story yesterday, because it happened. Okay, so yesterday, I did a live stream experience, an experimental live stream. And I was playing a video game, and I decided I'm going to drink some vodka mixed with grape Faygo. In fact, I've got the empty bottle here. So, pretty good. That was good. That tasty. But, I had like a lot of alcohol in that glass. And so, after consuming an amount of alcohol, I decided I would begin consuming marijuana-based products. And this is where it all happened. So, I got a new... I got a new vaporizing cartridge recently. It is very powerful. It is a very potent and powerful product. And so that I did that combined with some other marijuana products, and so I got really high. And so at one point, I woke up in the middle of the night. So I went to bed at like 7. So my stream that I did yesterday ended at like 4:30ish. And I ended up going to bed at like 7. So like not much later, I was devastatingly high. I could not stay awake. I overdosed. The time I overdosed. Okay, so I overdosed. I fell asleep. So I wake up after having very interesting dreams. Dreaming of very interesting things. Dreaming that I was walking around and doing stuff. Do I remember playing the game? Barely. I remember some cool parts, like the white area that I was in. That was super cool, but I barely. But anyway, so my dreams were like me living life normally, nothing exciting, right? And then all of a sudden, I realize, wait a second, did I just wake up? So I'm having like, I don't know, some form of like a mushroom flashback in my dream that's in real life. And so it's like a lucid dream scenario. I start realizing that I'm in the dream, but the dream is just me in my room and I'm really high. And then I realize that eventually a couple of cycles in that I find myself in the bathroom and I realize I'm actually awake. I had woken up in the middle of the night, but at the time I thought it was the morning. I thought it was the next day because I had no sense of time. Sense of time. I did multiple marijuana products. And so my sense of time just completely, it disappeared. And so I thought it was the morning. And so then I look out the window, realizing that there are windows and I can look outside and it's nighttime. And so I have no idea what time it is. I think it's possibly like 5 a.m. Like they'll just, I wake up at 5. Often I woke up at 5. Once again, today. 5 to 6 is when I typically try to wake up. But anyway, so I'm thinking, okay, the light's just, the sun's not come out yet. That's what I'm thinking. So, okay, I got up early. Probably because I fell asleep early. Makes sense. So, I then go to the kitchen. The clock on the kitchen, I believe, it's like on the oven or stove or whatever, says that it's like 9:30. I just passed out for like an hour or two. Like, I fell asleep at around 7:30 or something, and I saw it was like 9:37. And so no, I just kind of fell asleep for a little bit. I got too high and I fell asleep and took a nap. But like I had woken up in but my dreams were so bizarre and realistic that like I dreamed that like I was waking up several times in the middle of the night. I was dreaming that I was walking around getting a snack in the middle. Like I had dreams and I thought that they were memories and it was time passing. But no, so I wake up and it's 9:30, something like that. And so I'm like, okay, I just got really high and then I took a nap. Okay, that makes more sense. All right. So then what I do, like any rational, well-meaning and logical person would do, I did more marijuana-based products. So I got even higher, and I was scrolling through Twitter and, I think I was like watching something for a little bit. Eventually, I think I fall back asleep around 11. I wake up at 5, but wait, let me get to 11. So I get really high, and I don't remember falling asleep again. The same thing happens. Because I was like, I was laying in bed, looking at stuff on my phone. I don't remember what I was looking at, to be honest. I think it was Twitter, but I don't know. And then I wake up, once again, in the dream world. The dream world, very bizarre. Now, this time in the dream world, I'm not at my home. I'm in a public place. But, I mean, it's not public per se, but it's like, it's outside. There's no people around. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is a dream. Right? So then, I have another, this is something that happens to me. I don't know, this is like, I've always had this theme of like, the false awakenings. I've told this story before. But oftentimes in my dreams, what I have are false awakenings, and that's one of the ways that I become like lucid within the dream. Is it seems like real life, like I had just woken up in the morning, but then there's like a very obviously fucked up detail, and so it's like at the start of But anyway, that's a whole different story. Anyway, so I had a bunch of those, and I was freaking out, and then I wake up, and it's around 5 o'clock, and this time it's really 5. And it felt really weird. I had a very strange morning. So anyway, that's the time I got really high. And now I'm really high right now. And so that's why I told that story. I think. I don't remember when I started talking. But there you go. That's the story. That's all I got. Anyway, I think this thing is over. I don't have any. I don't wear a watch, but I do the watch gesture. It's like a bit that I do. Does anyone notice? I don't actually wear a watch. But I'll look at it, you know, just go like, you know. So, anyway, some people say that they put their watches on their left hand. I'm right-handed. But some people say that they put their watches on the left hand. I don't know why the left hand became the watch hand. I wore a watch at some point in school just to keep track of the day because I wanted to know when the day was over. And sometimes some of the classes I was in did not have clocks in the class, so that's when I started. And I just put it on my right hand because I'm right-handed, so duh. And then eventually I learned that people use the left hand. That's weird. That's weird. That's some weird shit. Humans are weird. Anyway, that's the show. Goodbye. Have a good one. Woo! Hey! It's the random noises portion of the program. Wow! All right. This is still on. Whoops. Okay.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint when they thought about it.
I would say, oh, I'm not a beta male. I'm not a beta male. I would say, oh, I'm not a beta. I'm not a beta male. I'm not a beta male. You know, you're a beta male.
Beta.
Dub is a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc.
It's like, oh, Abel's your guy, eh, God? How about if I take him out in the field and beat him to death?
Sam, if I could just get this sentence out. We can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The record player on at night. Play the radio. Play the radio. The record player on at night. Play the radio. Play the record player on. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Play the radio. The record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words.
Go, Brandon, I agree.